Taking a look at today's equity index futures markets, let's look at the S&P 500 futures as they're moving higher today. S&P 500 futures coming off of 3 days of selling pressure, moving through expiration for March, which was a quarterly expiration, and establishing some higher price action today as we start off a new cycle for the futures markets. And when you look at today's levels, we're up about a little over 50 basis points on the day, right around the 52.12 level. Now that's off the intraday high, which was 52.40, and that's just shy of really the all-time highs for the S&P. So giving up some ground here late in the day, but still holding on to a gain of a little bit better than 0.5% as the markets are stemming some of the recent selling pressure. And when you look at some of the factors contributing to that, I think there's a couple things here influencing the markets. Number one, some renewed strength in some of the big tech names that really underperformed last week and realized some selling pressure. We did see some higher price action in NVIDIA, as well as really the other bigger names, Meta and Google today, influencing the markets. And I think that that's one of the factors contributing to why we're seeing, again, 3 out of the 4 major indexes higher today. Couple that with a rotation on the market. Now, banking sector appears, particularly the large banks, continue to realize further upside, and that helped to stabilize the S&P today, as well as some of the other indexes. And so I think that some buying pressure in certain areas reestablished, and also other areas, some rotation taking place to support the markets. And when you look across the board today, we're seeing higher price action in 3 of the 4 major indexes today, and the futures markets based on those indexes. The Russell under some selling pressure. Now, the Russell did buck the trend last Friday, but then some further selling pressure today, moving it back down towards the recent lows, down about 0.75%. But the Dow up slightly, the S&P up a little over 50 basis points, and the nasdaq regaining 1% today. So that's showing the most relative strength. But last week, it was under some heavy selling pressure. So again, when you look at it from a longer-term price structure, the S&P is really closer to its all-time high at this moment than the NASDAQ, although they're both not too far off of those all-time highs. As the markets are able to find some higher price action, S&P 500 futures higher today by a little over 0.5%.